To another political segment, speaking today about the divisions, the internal divisions within the Constituent Assembly tasked with writing the Constitution of Egypt. There has been several withdrawals. A significant number of members withdrew from the Constituent Assembly, raising a lot of questions and doubts regarding the ability of the current Constituent Assembly to be continuing with writing the Constitution for Egypt, and also the fate of the upcoming constitution. For this, we're joined tonight with Dr. Mohamed Samir, the counselor, a professor of constitutional law. Hello and welcome to the show, sir.
Hello. Hello, Doctor. So, as Sharif mentioned, the withdrawals of the Constituent Assembly was the main highlight of the week, especially after the syndicate of journalists actually withdrew maybe in 2 days' time, I guess, or yesterday or something. So, what do you think about that? Why these withdrawals always come one after the other, the church officials after the Azhar officials? Why do they keep on coming?
Okay, to know about that, we have to go back through time since the time after the revolution, since the referendum had been in March 2011.
Yes, exactly.
We started vice versa. We started amendments, then we had the People's Assembly, then we elect a president, then now we are suffering from, there is no President Assembly, there is a president with, I don't know what I have to describe it, but with authorities, with unlimited authorities. We have a problem to form a constitution, a Constituent Assembly from the beginning. The first one, which had been dissolved by the verdict of the administrative court. Then the second one right now, after the withdrawal of many people, many members, represent different point of views, like you said. This problem still gonna happen, and we will see more withdrawal because of the bad atmosphere we have, because of that we have separated groups like Islamists, liberals, church, and whatever. Every one of them believe he is right.
So after these withdrawals, is there an even bigger possibility for the second Constituent Assembly to be dissolved right now?
Yes, this is a good question. Okay, we have two possibilities. First one, yes. After all these withdrawals, maybe President Morsi form a new Constituent Assembly due to all these withdrawals, and make it with the different point of views, represent the most views in the street itself and people in Egypt at all. But the second possibility is we have a case in the higher constitutional court right now about dissolving the second Constituent Assembly, the current one, and this might take time, but at the end, from my point of view, it will be dissolved, even with Morsi's decision or judge verdict.
So if we move back to what you've said at the beginning, if we moved towards March, the referendum, were the constitution to be established in the first place or not? So at that time, Egypt has just came out of an uprising, of a revolution, and the political turmoil was really hard. So if you compare today's maturity, probable maturity of political level, and March's maturity, as well as having a president in place and having a government in place, don't you think that the same divisions would have been much greater if we're referring back to March without this political maturity?
Okay, but we will have the best thing, I think, that we don't have powers. We don't have people can say we represent the majority, because after the parliament elections, we have people speaks in behalf of majority. They said we are the majority. The Islamists right now talking about we represent the majority, so we are the majority. If we did that in the beginning, we didn't have a parliament, we didn't have a president, so the SCAF can just form it with equality, with make sure that every point of view or the most of them can be in the Constituent Assembly with members, with equal members from all parties.
So what if the second possibility that you've said, that maybe the Constituent Assembly would be dissolved sooner rather than later? So what would happen then?
Okay, due to the Constitution declaration that President Morsi declared it after he won the presidential election, he, on his own, will form a new Constituent Assembly. There is no standards, but let's hope that as it's a critical political decision, he will think well with his counselors to make sure to represent the most different
Well, Doctor,
point
don't you
of view.
think that President Morsi would actually form another assembly belonging maybe mostly to the Muslim Brotherhood members?
So we will go back to the same problem.
Yeah, for the third time.
Yes, yes, but I don't think so, because we need to finish it up. We fed up, even people fed up. We need a constitution. We need a people's assembly. We need a president with clear authorities. I don't think he will do that again.
What is the main divisions points about, and why is the collective withdrawals all of a sudden?
Okay, you mean why they withdraw?
Yes.
The main reasons? The main reasons, I went there and I can say because no one listened to them. When they talk about some amendments, when they talk about their point of views about some articles, specific articles, especially with civil rights, especially with the authorities, with the president, no one listened. It just we will did that. This is our constitution. Take it or leave it. Even when they have a discussion, it's so limited. That's why when they just fed up, when they felt like we will not affect this constitution, we will not put our point of view, so we have to quit. We can't take it. We can't take the responsibility of this. There is many articles, especially for the civil rights.
But Dr. Ashraf mentioned the withdrawals, or maybe the continuous withdrawing from the Constituent Assembly. What about the Orthodox Church, maybe, or the churches in general in Egypt, which decided to withdraw from the Assembly on November the 17th? Is that a blow for the Assembly itself?
Yeah, this is very big. Actually, this is the most important withdrawal, because when Egypt formed the Constitution of 1923, like 90 years ago, there is a Jewish representative to represent Jewish. So could we imagine in 2011 we will form a new constitution for Egypt without the Jewish representative? I don't think so, and it will be impossible from my point of view as a political action.
Is it a weak action or a strong action to be withdrawing from the Constituent Assembly without hardly debating their needs?
Without debating? No, I think they debated a lot. They tried a lot. Even Al-Azhar, they have such a kind of agreement between Al-Azhar and the church. But the problem is the members itself of the Constituent Assembly. And to be, frankly speaking, most, not all, of the members of the Constituent Assembly, I can see that they don't know what this constitution is. They maybe heard about it, they maybe know something about law, but there is a big difference between laws and its function and the constitution. We need to put general principles. They want to put every single details. This is a very big mistake. That's why they are not a constitutional aware about how it's function.
Being a professional in the constitutional law, is it the correct thing to have the majority's representation enforcing the shape and form of the draft, or is it about the representation and that's it?
Again, sorry, I can...
So my question is about having a majority, an Islamist majority focus maybe within the parliament and so on and so forth. Do you think this should be represented within the constitution draft, or is it like a fair representation to include all of the society members?
Yeah, this is one of the most important differences between constitution and laws, because laws we take it by majority, by voting of majority of the parliament. But when about the constitution, the most important thing that we teach students about civil state, that everyone feel like this is his constitution. Everyone feel like the state stands in the same distance of him and other people, other citizens. So when we talk about constitution, there is no majorities. The constitution itself protects minorities in everywhere, in every single right. So no, I think it will be equal for all parties. There is no majority in constitution.
Doctor, the article number 4 of the draft of the new constitution, which is set to be released maybe for a referendum, says that the Al-Azhar Grand Imam would be even chosen by law or maybe elections. We don't know that yet. So what do you think about that? Is that a big change for such an Islamic institution which lasted for hundreds of years?
Okay, yes, there is two possibilities. They didn't finish it yet. They haven't finished it yet. They talk about even for it will be he will become by elections or by appointed of the president or the council of the higher Muslims affairs committee. But I think I am not afraid about Al-Azhar. We have to know that Al-Azhar, when it established years ago, it was established for teaching Shia and its different directions. But now, it converted to Sunnah, and since then we had the English invasion, we had the French invasion, and still Azhar keep itself, and still right now, and I think so, it will be the moderate represent about Islam, even if will be the Sheikh or the Imam of Al-Azhar will come based on elections or appointed.
So what about the articles that actually concern you?
Concern?
Yeah, you said
yes,
that you're not afraid
yes,
for Al-Azhar.
yes. The most concern about civil rights, about the equality between all people, men, women rights. The most important thing, the international, I'm talking about the international treaties, the international conventions, and how we should be careful while we're using this constitution to make sure we will apply these conventions and treaties. The ultimate power of the president and the shape of the structure of the state, because when I finished reading this draft, I felt like, I don't know, is this a parliamentary or a presidentially or a mix of both of them of a state? I couldn't figure it out. This is a problem. We need to know it very well. We need to downsize, to minimize the ultimate powers of the president. It's like 23
Articles?
No, not articles. 23 like authorities or 23
entities.
Yes, entity for the president himself. This is a very big deal.
If we speak about a scenario where the High Court of Egypt will be taking a verdict on the 2nd of December, what is the scenario expected if the constitution draft was already prepared or not, and how do you think it should be going?
Okay, this is a legal issue. If the Constituent Assembly, and it's if because I'm not sure of that, and I'm sure it will not be, but let's imagine if the Constituent Assembly finished and the President declare that the Constitution will go through referendum from people to say yes or no for the Constitution. I think we will have many suits in the courts about suspension of this decision until the higher Supreme Constitutional Court finish the case about dissolving the Constituent Assembly. This is a very critical and legal issue. We are talking about suspension of this declaration, and I think the court will do that.
So, Doctor, what about other maybe articles that may cause controversy in the future upon releasing the draft of the Constitution for a referendum?
Okay, other articles.
The controversial articles.
We have many. I can see. Yeah, it's like it's very detailed constitution. That's why we have many things to debate about. It's controversial because every one of us can see something different. But we need to in a constitution to put the minimum agreement between me and you. We don't need to do a specific details like we are just put something new. No countries in the world have their constitution, and it's not like that. We can't do this fight. After civil war in the States, they made it. They made the declaration. They made a constitution of 7 articles, only 7 articles, and up to now it's still 7 articles, and the states are bonding. We can't do that right now. We have many differences, and it's like the polarization in the society is very big between the Islamists and between liberals and between socialists, between even the church, Al-Azhar. We need to at least to agree for the minimum standards we can put in the Constitution.
Dr. Mohamed Samir, professional of constitutional law, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
Good
you.
to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now moving on from this segment to another one, but just after this break.